That is funny. That's the first time I see this intro image with our faces. It's a long time ago that those photographs were taken. I think about 4 years or something. But yeah, with that,
Are you calling
welcome
us
everyone.
old?
It's not what I said, or did I? 4 years older, at least, yeah, compared to that time. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, welcome everyone. This is our release party. One of 3 times in a year that we celebrate this. Today, Matt is not here, unfortunately. We will try also to cover his spot for various updates that we want to tell you about our 24, how do you say it? 2024, that way, 0.2 release. Okay, let me show. We have this nice little intro image, but where is it? Oh my God, I forgot to start it. So this is our nice cover image as well. Also the first time that we get such an amazing piece of cover for the live stream with this X, ReSharper X Rider. So yeah, how's everyone feeling about the release?
Pretty good. I like it. It's feature packed. I like it. It has a lot.
We're gonna overrun this this live stream again, right?
Oh no. We're staying on time. It's a good thing because Montes has that tool, right? That time tracking tool. It's a good time to talk about it.
Right. This is something, but first we get into this. First, if you have any questions, just to know that we do this every time. But if you have any questions, it doesn't have to be about the features that we show to you, but it can be anything. We will try to follow up in the chat. Maybe we can address it as we go. But usually we always have an answer and try to follow up with something. Yeah, it's also recorded. This in these times, yeah, that's a no-brainer for sure. It's recorded, so you can also follow up later. But as always, we're glad if you stick around and we kind of have a little chat. And yeah, and this is the tool that Khalid was talking about. We kind of introduced this last time already. I've done this with a friend of mine who's very good in front-end development. And so if you want to stick around, see what's going on, what we will be talking about, then you can go to jdgg/live, and you will see all the topics that we will cover. And as Khalid also said, we have this agenda tool in the background as well, where everyone was giving some estimates how long they would take talking on a particular topic. And if those numbers are updating, then you can see who's taking more time than they estimated. Yeah, so you can point at us. That's fine.
Public shaming. I like this.
A little bit of estimation shaming. Yeah, right. There was one thing I don't have a particular slide for, and that is because of our 20 years of ReSharper, we do have something to give to you. I think Khalid can give a little more details on that.
Yeah, so pay attention during this live stream. Sprinkled throughout some code samples will be licenses for .ultimate. So if you have some OCR screenshotting tools, you might want to pause. Head on over to jetbrains.com/store, and you can use these codes to get a full year of .ultimate 100% on us. So thanks for folks tuning in. You'll have chances. The way this works is first person to check out with these codes gets the code. So good luck. Be friendly, be nice to each other, and good luck. Hopefully you win. So, yep.
Yeah, good luck to everyone. So with that, I think that is our hello everyone part. And now we follow up with some key updates. So the first part is Khalid is taking that, right? I'll add your screen. Where is it?
Yep.
Here. Screen should be there.
Yeah. So welcome everybody. This is the release party for 2024.2. I'm going to leave my screen up there. maybe some of you are eagle-eyed. But the first thing we want to talk about that's kind of really noticeable in this release is full-line code completion. What is full-line code completion? It's a fine-tuned model to help you predict the very next line of code. This all works locally. No cloud services required. It works on your machine, and it works really, really fast. So I'm going to give you an example here. I have a unit test written in XUnit, and if I scroll up, I can see that I have another test. So the way full line code completion works, again, it predicts the very next line. The more code that is in that particular file, the better the recommendations are. That's just how LLMs work. So here, I'll start typing, and you can see immediately that I get a recommendation. If you hover over here, you can always change what shortcut triggers that completion. For me, I like it to be a little bit more intentional. So I typically have, a modifier key of some kind. So Shift, you can do that. You can also, which sometimes shows up, sometimes doesn't, but you can actually select words and symbols instead of just the whole line. So you don't have to select everything. If something is maybe not 100% correct, you may not want to select the whole thing. So this is a unit test. Person has name. I want to assert, and you can see here, I get another recommendation that's super helpful. The thing I want to also show you, though, again, LLMs, they're there to help you. They're not there to think for you. So you want to be very, very mindful of logical statements that are generated. So person can do addition. Let's see. So here we get the person again. And I know this person has a method called addition. And I'll just set this to a variable. So as a human, I know addition typically takes two values, and 2 + 2 is 4. But if I go ahead and I assert, you can see that there's now a logical issue here. So be very mindful of the recommendations you get. They're very fast. They're typically very accurate, but you always want to double check when you're using full line code completion for these kind of logical issues. So again, this is free with JetBrains Rider with this release. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. It works with AI Assistant. It works without AI Assistant. It's just included in JetBrains Rider. Give that a try. Hopefully folks enjoy that. I know I have. Play around with it, turn it on and off. And again, all local, all on your machine, and all using fine-tuned models for specific languages. So that's full line code completion. That's pretty cool. The next thing I want to talk about is reader mode. Again, this is an XUnit test project. You're probably using a third-party dependency somewhere in your applications. And sometimes you want to use the Decompiler to kind of look at what those third parties are offering. So I always step through, and the thing you're going to notice in this release of Rider is that the decompiled code looks a lot different. And this is reader mode. We're taking these XML document sections that are typically on code, and we're rendering them so they're easier to read. We're also, this is a setting I've turned on. You can also add additional line spacing between each line. It just kind of makes it a lot easier to read decompiled code. So that's really awesome. If you don't want reader mode, if you feel like there's something missing, or maybe this isn't for you, you can always come up here and turn off reader mode. So reader mode, it's a nice little quality of life improvement. And I think people will kind of enjoy it for that. So the next thing I want to talk about, I've actually written a blog post about this. So if you head over to our blog, blog.jetbrains.com/.net, you can see all of our .NET blog posts there. I write some, Matthias writes some, Rachel writes some, Martin used to write some. No, I'm just kidding. Martin has some great blog posts up there. But I have a blog post up there about our tasks tool window. So like many of you, we now live in an async await world, and we're dealing a lot with tasks. This is kind of an absurd example. This is like, hopefully none of you have code like this out there, but if you do, we got you. This is going to make life a lot easier. So here I have a parent task, which is the test. And then we are creating 10 tasks, and that creates a task, and that creates a task, and that creates a task. So there's a lot of tasks here. And if I go up here and start debugging this test, let's see here. Wonder why I can't see the debug window or the, let's see here. Interesting. Let me rebuild here. This is probably a resolution thing when you make things a little smaller. But let's debug. It's building.
By the way, I also saw Matt is in this in the chat. So Matt, you can absolutely join a StreamYard and cover your part about game development. No problem.
Yeah, I see he has a drink emoji there, so maybe we don't want Matt on here. No offense, Matt. No offense. We love you. Okay. Now we're back to having this. Okay. So I'll debug this test. And the demo gods are taking their ooh, where'd my breakpoint go? All right. I got to come back here, add this breakpoint. There we go. So you can see there's a lot of tasks going off here, and this can kind of be difficult to debug. So I'll go into the debugger here, and we're going to hit that breakpoint. And the first thing people are going to notice, it looks like the same old debugger. We can see all of the 10 tasks that we've created. This isn't very easy to look at. It isn't easy to debug in this kind of old style of debugging tasks, but you'll notice right away that we have a task tool window up here. So if you click this, what Rider will do is it'll look through your executing process and find all the outstanding tasks currently here. So, and you can actually see the statuses, awaiting, active, scheduled tasks. These are the ones that we've created. And this is really helpful for a lot of folks working with tasks. But the thing I really love is there's a graph view. So if you go over here to the top right, click graph, and you can see kind of all the logical stacks that are currently involved in your executing process. Right now, they're kind of all logically separate from each other. So this isn't super helpful right now, but just give me a second. We're going to step through this. And every time you step through the execution process, you will now see how all those tasks are related to each other, which is really, really cool. So I'll move this up, and you can kind of see what's happening here and how they're all related in a graph view. And let's see here. If I step through again, you can see this kind of updates as well. So this can be helpful for finding things like deadlocks and race issues. And a hint for you when using this view, look for the bright white colored lines. If you hover over things, these are typically where your code is executing. And clicking there will take you specifically to that line. So this is the task view. If you want to learn more about it, go check out that blog post on our blog. You'll see more details about it there. And yeah, this is just kind of an overview of this. So hopefully folks.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Quick question from my side. With the chance that you say this is not there yet, but
Yep.
can we already freeze a certain threat?
No, not yet. It is a commonly requested issue. It is in the issue tracker, and we are looking potentially at how to do that. But yeah, it is something folks want. We hear you. and hopefully we get it in a future release. So good question though, Montius. Thank you. Yep. The next thing I want to show you is we all have complex classes. Here I have a person class. There are a lot of private members, there's properties, there's methods, there's local methods, there's local methods. That's a lot of methods. But what you'll notice in the latest release of Rider is the bottom navigation bar has actually been updated here. So let's see if I can zoom in down here. And you can see that it actually follows the symbols that I'm clicking on. So that's kind of cool. The other thing you can do is if you go down here, you can always navigate directly to any symbol that's in a project or in a particular class. So this should kind of help you navigate a little easier when you're in one of those big files. So give that a try. I really like this. It's very similar to the structure view. But it's just one less window you have to open. So that's pretty cool. All right. And the final thing, a lot of folks who are maybe playing around with .NET 8, .NET 9 have probably heard about .NET Aspire. It's a distributed framework, I want to say, or distributed style. It's a workload. It helps you build distributed applications by creating references from one project to the other. And they're typically, these solutions are held together by an app host. So here I have an Aspire application that has a web front end and an API service, and they're kind of all connected to each other. So this is a new kind of programming model coming to .NET. And one of our developers, Rival, has been working on a plugin that used to be something you had to get at the marketplace. In this release, it's just bundled in with Rider as a first-class citizen. So as a hint, look for this pizza-shaped triangle Illuminati icon in JetBrains Rider. And yeah, you can launch any .NET Aspire application. So here I'll just start it. What you'll notice is the services tool window pops up, and then all of the services that are related to your Aspire project, they come online, and now you can see them inside of JetBrains Rider. Additionally, too, a nice feature of the plugin, and credit to Rival for putting this in, is if any of your dependencies are one of those database resource projects like Postgres, SQL Server, we'll automatically find them and add them to the database tool window. So if you're thinking about getting into .NET Aspire, the plugin is there bundled in JetBrains Rider. You don't have to worry about it. It just works. Give that a try, and we think you'll like it. So on that note, I think that's it for this section. Hopefully folks found those codes. If you did, congratulations. If not, stay tuned. We got more codes. So back to you, Montius.
Well, can everyone tell my code doesn't have any codes, but except C# codes, and that's worth saying as well. But don't look too closely during my code session because I don't have any, I can tell you. I just don't want to disappoint you. But let me switch to my screen here. And also now this gets interesting because I also need to update the agenda all the time. But yeah, you see my screen, yeah? So let's go. As always, I say this all the time, when I'm showing C# features or any one of our team shows certain language features, many times these are available in ReSharper as well. For me, it's just a little bit easier right now, being on half on vacation already, not having to spin up ReSharper. So I will show things inside Rider and just be sure it's also available and they're showing in Rider, and it's available also in ReSharper, of course. So we start with equality analysis. About all the topics that I'm showing to you, just note there's also a dedicated blog post to that, going a little bit more into detail. I will try to run through these. So first, equality analysis. So this is mainly about records and structs, where we might detect that you are using a suspicious equality for two objects in various places. And this is one of these, for instance. If we see we have a payload and it has a string header and an int of bytes. Now, if you use that, the payload as a key inside the dictionary, then of course, the implementation of the dictionary will check if the key already exists. And during this existence check, it will check for equality. Now, this might be unexpected, but this type has a suspicious equality because it's used as a member of a record type. Meaning, in this case, you would need to have the same reference for two payloads, or the same reference for that particular array for two payloads to be equal. Yeah, but usually I think it's more obvious that you want to compare those arrays and compare them with sequence equal, for instance. Now, ReSharper and Rider have this new equality analysis, and they will notify you about those issues, so that you basically, in this case, decide to implement your own equality members for that. Here's another example with a struct of my point, and it's used in a dictionary. You can see we also have those warnings on both where the type is used and also on the declaration of the type itself. Now, it's very, very important to, or kind of worth knowing, that this inspection will only trigger if we see that this type is used in an equality sensitive context, like here in a key, for instance. Only then you get those inspections. And from here you can also see you have two options. You can kind of make the compiler generate good, and I forgot to. No, I'm still in equality analysis. Sorry. You can kind of make the compiler generate those equality implementations for you, or you implement them yourself. That's also possible with these generate equality members. Third example for this is right here. There, it was actually very interesting. It's kind of a trivia to know, or how do you say, very, very specific trivia to know. That add or update actually also calls on the equality of the t-value type of a concurrent dictionary. So in this case, you see if we remove that call from add or update, then you also get rid of this inspection. But if you use it, then Rider and ReSharper will inform you. And just to also allow you to be ready for this inspection, we also added this new default equality usage attribute to our JetBrains annotations package. So here you can see it. This is the NuGet package right here. And then if you add this to your methods, then you can kind of instruct ReSharper and Rider that this type is actually used for equality relevant checks. If I remove that, then you can also see the inspection goes away. If I add it, then we kind of get notified about it. Okay, next topic is, and sorry, I also have to click OK here, is common code. Oops, common code, common code, if I can type right here. This is a very, very cool new inspection plus quick fix as well. And that is if you, for some reason, and I guess it happens to everyone, if you end up with some code duplicated in branching constructs like switch and if statements in particular, then ReSharper and Rider will now notify you that there's common code that you could extract. Like in this case, for instance, this line, this right here, is duplicated right there. And now we have this quick fix that you can actually say extract this common code. So we kind of reduce the branching statements to what they are actually needed for, and move out the common code to the end afterwards. Again, for if and switch statements, this is available now. If you kind of, if you're in for an easy win, Then you could also go here to one inspection where this happens at least one time, and then always look for find similar issues in the solution. And then you can be the nice person on the next meetup to say, I removed a bunch of code and this was all duplicated. Another thing why this is good to know or have a particular eye on it is because sometimes you might intentionally duplicate code with the underlying intention to adapt certain values. So in that case, it would still warn you, hey, this is common code. Maybe you forgot to adjust a couple of parameters or something. Maybe you missed to switch, I don't know, X and Y arguments for each other, stuff like that. So it will catch your eye, and then it's up to you what to do about it, basically. Okay, next point. The next point is cast expression analysis. I have that here as well. And that is, I try to make it very short. We have downcasts and upcasts in C#, kind of inherited from, or not inherited, but by example from C, from the C language, and C++ probably not, because they have much more. But yeah, we have those savecasts, we have or downcasts and upcasts. What I mean by that, if we just let's have a quick look at those at this type hierarchy. So we have IBase, IDerived, which inherits from IBase, and then an implementation for derived. Now, if we cast, then, and let's say we have this derived instance and we downcast it to IBase, that's not a problem at all. But if we actually remove this one here, then of course it's no longer safe. I guess that's obvious. And you also have this inspection which tells you this is a suspicious cast, because Rider and ReSharper, they don't know any type that inherits from both, right? But let's revert that. Now, this is a good thing in Rider and ReSharper, but you can actually make your code safer right away already, and that is by using implicit type modifications. So right here. So we can make this an explicit variable type. Now we have this type annotation right here, and if we now remove this, then you will actually see an error because this is no longer valid. This is checked by the compiler then. And we have this in various places, like for instance, also in this select statement right here. There's a better place to write this using type annotations, which is to move this to the Lambda. How's it called? I don't actually know how you call this, but maybe the quick fix tells me. A Lambda return type. Yeah. So we can kind of move that, and that is much safer. Again, it would produce a compile error if this type hierarchy is not valid, or not how it's supposed to be. And first, another example would be in generic methods like here with task from result. I've written this code plenty of times as well. And there's a good fix for that, and that is to use the generic type argument right here. Then you also get the compile error right away. Okay, that was it for cast analysis. The next one is culture preview. Very quick, actually. If you complete for types like datetime, date only, time only in the toString to provide the format specifier, then we've only been showing you this right here with some previews, but we kind of were stuck with the invariant culture, because who knows under what circumstances that code is running. What we do now is to add another tooltip to those items, which shows you how this code is being rendered, or how the object is being rendered in different cultures. Yeah. Different cultures that are set at runtime for the thread that is running it. So this is nice, and it's available for datetime, datetime, date only, and time only. Yeah. Okay. The next one, multi-monitor acrobatics here. Okay, the next one is Params modifiers. Params modifiers. Again, a short one. Sometimes you might end up with an API, or you write an API, and at first you might not know, okay, I could use params because, yeah, I don't know, maybe you thought you will add another parameter here or something, who knows. But once this API is being used a lot of times, then it would be nice to kind of decide, okay, now I want to upgrade to the use of params like this. Yeah, you can add it, but then you get this redundant code everywhere, and then it's kind of difficult to say where to fix those, to update those. Now, what we introduced is context action. So on this, if a certain parameter is of type, is an array type, and it's the last one, then what you will see is this here on the left, add params modifier and update usages. Now we can actually do this. You can see the usages have been updated, and you can also revert this whole process. Like if you say, I want to introduce a new parameter and can no longer use params, then you just go back. Yeah. Okay, that will cancel. I did something in our agenda too, which was not supposed to happen. Next one is escape sequences. Oh, escape sequences. Come on, here, escape sequences. You might know those if you have, yeah, probably for things like /t or /r/n for line breaks, etc. C#13 introduces a new one for the escape character to provide an escape sequence for that. Nice wording there. And historically, you had to use one of those forms right here with Unicode representation or hexadecimal representation. We are now giving you a way to kind of make the code shorter, like in this case with the quick fix. Again, you can also do this with fix those things in bulk for the file project solution, etc. I will use it for on the whole string literal. Along with those, we also, or the developer who actually implemented that was reviewing some of the other, let's say related features. So not only about the escape character, but more generally about escape sequences. And what was introduced then was a couple of conversion utilities. Like for instance, we could select this /t here and say, let's convert this to the Unicode escape sequence, or we could select this and move it to hexadecimal escape sequences. The same here with ellipses. We could actually convert it to ASCII text, etc. PP. This is also a nice little example where from just looking at the code, you wouldn't probably not spot the difference between those two characters, but they are in fact different right here. So if I select this whole character and convert it to ASCII text, then you can see it's first the last one, and probably I should have selected the whole string. Oh no, it does not. I thought it does, but yeah. So this is represented by two Unicode characters. The second one, however, this is just a single one. And you can kind of unveil those secrets with those new, escape conversion context actions. Last one about those is we've added a warning that tells you if hexadecimal escaping sequences are mixed with regular text. Like in this case, usually you should write it something like this, if I'm not mistaken. But C# has decided or kind of grew into this that this can be of variable length. So it's better to use it like this, but you could also say you would just want to, split it. So then it's clear to how it should be converted. But yeah, now you have this this inspection as well. And I think I mixed one of the topics. So yeah, I mixed one of the topics. I'm sorry. Var completion, so also pretty quick here. out var. Now what you can do is one of your APIs has the out variable notation or an out parameter that you have these code completions right here in this case. Since it can be multiple signatures that are being used from different rem, you can choose between in or long. And here another example with a lookup onto a dictionary. And full line code completion is really good here, yeah, but let's kind of show the out var feature here again. It will also include the naming suggestions that you probably also know from all the other refactorings that we have. So in this case, would just be value. Yeah. Okay, next one. Primary constructors. Constructors here. Primary constructors, a lot of people are using them, me as well, and I'm very happy with that, with those. There's a single thing that I don't like, and that is that you can't add read-only modifiers just yet. Yeah. For those who dislike them for exactly that reason and for the capturing, etc., we introduced an inspection that is called, how is it called? Primary constructor capturing is disallowed, parameter is disallowed. So you can activate that, disabled by default. That would raise a warning here if we actually just capture the parameter. Then you have a quick fix to make it an explicit field. But let's revert that because I'm kind of okay with that. So let's revert it. Well, on the flip side, like I said, we don't have this read-only modifier. Now, our team, our C# team decided it would still be good to have some kind of inspection that tells you that a variable is being mutated, since you cannot know from compiler checks, basically. So if this actually happens, like in this case, now I'm kind of, injecting that evil ad hoc dependency implementation here. Then now you also can get this warning. You could raise it to an error if you want, but otherwise, quick fix is very similar. It would introduce an explicit field where you can see the read-only modifier is not there, and yeah, up to you what looks best for you. That's it about primary constructors. Is anyone still there? I don't see. I only have two. Yeah, nice.
We're still here, Montes. Don't worry, we got you.
Okay, good. I think I overrun a bit with the time, but yeah, I didn't think this would be so difficult with just two screens. Collection expressions. Small feature there. Some time ago, we decided we don't want to give you the conversion for collection-like interface types, because the caller could assume that you're using a list or an array, and then you cannot, then you're breaking your code unintentionally. Now we're actually still doing that. So again, it's probably your choice if you want to enable that or not. But now we do have the conversion and quick fixes to, for instance, with this iNumable of int, to turn it into a collection expression. You can also convert it back in this case to either list with initializer or array creation expression. And also for regular variable declarations where you previously used var, you can now decide to, I think this was the wrong one because you have to invoke it here, to use collection expressions. And then you get the type annotation on the left, no var anymore, but you can use the collection expression on the right. So that's it about collection expressions. And the last one is split list patterns. Split, oops. Okay, I think I call it list patterns. Yeah, this is a nice little quality of life thing, but I'm not totally sure it should trigger a little bit early already. List patterns don't allow you to put command right here because it needs to be a constant. Yeah, so you have this error now. So what I wish was that the quick fix was actually triggering on that already, but it's still creating red code. But what you can do is just select this constant right here and then choose to split the list pattern. And now we can adapt to put command right here. And now we can kind of have this check dynamically with the command parameter. Yeah, there's a difference between help would be a constant, and we always check for just help, but not for a dynamic command string that we can provide. Okay, that's it for the C# part. Next one is Khalid again with some F# magic. So I put your screen back on.
All right, awesome.
Yeah. Shared.
Yep. All right, cool. This is the part everybody's been waiting for, the F# section. So forget all that C# stuff. No, I'm just joking. It was great, Matthias. Thank you so much. No, but for the folks who are doing F#, I think you're going to like some of the new features in Rider for F# users. So the first thing
line 6. I like line 6.
The first thing I want to point out is the F# interactive window has kind of gotten a facelift. So if you're someone who uses it, yeah, you should kind of see kind of the new experience here. And this kind of lets you do interactive F# development. So give that a try. You can always close it. You can reset the window. You can see recent commands, which is pretty cool. So if you have a long list of commands, you can go through that. You can also clear the output. So the F# interactive window has kind of gotten an upgrade. And related to that, if you're an F# interactive window user, you're probably also an F# script writer. And one of the things we've heard a lot from F# users is they wanted the ability to debug their F# scripts. So in this release, you can do just that. So I'm writing Martin a little, note, wanting him just to notice me and say hello. And here,
hello, Khalid. Hello.
Oh, thank you, Martin. I feel seen now by you, so I appreciate it. Now, when you're running the F# script, you can see kind of all the variables that are declared in that script. So if you're not writing F# scripts and you're thinking about getting into it, but feel like the debugging experience has kind of been holding you back, shouldn't anymore. You can debug in it. That's pretty cool. So I'll stop everything now. Let's move on to the next F# goodness. I know a lot of folks are mixing their F# with third-party libraries. Maybe you're working in a polyglot team where folks are working on C# and F#. Those C# folks are probably writing a lot of extension methods. So here, if you're writing F# in the same solution, we can actually go find those extension methods in other projects and auto import them in. So in this case, I have an extension method in another project. I haven't added that open statement yet, but when I do that, it's automatically added. And now I can just kind of use it as I need to. So there's that. Additionally, too, I have an extension method for this string somewhere, and I can just call it. So auto importing of extension methods now in F#, that should make things a lot nicer for F# writers. Okay, the next thing I want to show you, Lambda functions. So this is typically the style of F# where you're using the triangle operator here, passing a method, passing a collection into a method like that. But sometimes folks want to kind of augment this and they want to do it inline. So now we have a quick fix to convert this syntax over to Lambda expressions. So that's pretty helpful. If folks like that. That's cool. I think it's pretty cool. So the next thing I want to show you is naming suggestions. So, I love X's. Whoa, don't tell my wife. No, that was a bad joke. But X's and Y's, they work fine for the most part, in my opinion. But some folks maybe don't like that. They want more meaningful variables. So now in F# with Rider, we'll make more meaningful naming suggestions. This one's pretty cool. So I have a get builder function up here that returns a string builder. And the recommendations that we make are builder or string builder, because we know what's getting returned is a string builder. So F# naming suggestions, yeah, that's a thing now in Rider. So give that a try if you're an F# user. I think you're going to really like a lot of these changes. So let us know if you do, and let us know if you want some new stuff. So on that note, I think I'm moving on from F# onto the next point. And this one might be a little controversial. So please be nice. Be nice to me. We are essentially taking the classic UI that everyone kind of grew up with and fell in love with Rider, but now we have the new UI. If you're still one of those folks that loves the classic UI and wants to continue using it, we have unbundled it, and you can find it in the plugin marketplace. Just go look for classic UI, and this should kind of get you the old UI if you want it. So this might be a little controversial. I've seen some tweets basically saying like, please bring it back. But it's still there. We're not completely getting rid of it, but you will need to download it as a separate plugin moving forward. All right. The next thing, anyone? Oh my God, Martin, what are you saying to Matt over there? Okay. Oh, Matt found a code. That's pretty cool. Anyways, let's move on to project and solution template parameters. This one is really, really important for folks doing things like ASP.NET Core, which has a lot of flags. It's also very important for our open source community who are potentially creating their own templates. So we've updated our new solution dialog. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll now see, depending on the template, but for most templates, there's always kind of an advanced settings. If you expand this, you'll actually see all the flags that are typically associated with that particular template. So this is stuff you typically don't want to touch unless you have really good reason. But if you do have those good reasons, you can always go into the advanced settings and check things like no HTTPS or use Microsoft Graph or even set some of these unique values that you typically couldn't before. So like for Avalonia, for example, you can always change the Avalonia version or switch the MVEM toolkit from reactive UI to community toolkit. So look in the advanced settings. This stuff should be pretty helpful. It works for solutions and project templates. So check that out. The next thing I want to show you is back to C#. So if we go look at our person class again that I showed previously, you'll notice it looks the same as it always did, right? We have this this usages symbol here, but if you click it, we've actually updated the find usages pop-up to look closer to what IntelliJ offers. So you'll see these things here. You can show read access, write access. You can filter based on different contexts, which is pretty cool. You can show the file structure, which I think is kind of cool, but given my resolution, you can't actually see it. The curse, oh, there it goes. So you can see kind of where those members are, and you can always pop out these find usages into their own window at the bottom. So if you want to retain kind of your investigation, you can do that as well. All right, main toolbar customizations is the next thing I would like to talk about. We do a really good job of crafting an experience that, right out of the box, people are going to enjoy and they're going to love. But there's always those folks that want to customize their particular experience, and that's okay. We want to support that. If you right-click on the main toolbar, you can always customize it yourself. But we've also given you this quick add menu as well. So if there's anything in here that you'd like to add, you can just add it and it will show up in the main toolbar. So yeah, that's cool. Main toolbar customizations. Check that out. Personally, I love default Rider. I'm probably not adding any extra stuff. If you feel like there's something that needs to be there for everybody, please let us know. We'd love to hear that. The next thing I want to show, I did mention reader mode, and you don't want to miss out on the fun of, rendered XML documentation. So in addition to reader mode, we've brought XML rendering into your code as well. So if you look at an XML block and it's becoming unwieldy in terms of its XML format, you can always go to the gutter here and you'll see this little icon. If you click this, which I'm having difficulty doing, but I'll click it. Clicking is hard, people. But if you click it, you'll get this XML rendering, and we support most of the XML rendering tags, so you'll kind of get these really nice formats as well. Martin is a chaos agent. He was saying put an image or GIF in here. I wasn't able to get that to work, but don't listen to Martin.
I need to try this.
Yeah, but this is really cool. Again, like just showing code blocks. We'll also render references to classes as well. So if you're using the C also or C ref tags, those will show up rendered correctly. The next thing I want to show, I think I'm still going, right, Matthias? I think I'm going through the whole thing. So I'm going to show you semantic highlighting.
Yes.
So yeah. So for folks who love colors, who doesn't love colors? Come on. For folks who love colors and kind of look at code and find symbols based on that color highlighting, we're introducing semantic highlighting. So if you search through the settings, let's see here, color scheme, I think it's under language defaults, you'll find semantic highlighting. And I want you to notice kind of this parameter list. They're all currently just kind of shades of gray, and it can kind of be difficult to visually distinguish between each of them. If you go into the settings and check semantic highlighting, you'll get different colors now enabled. And if I close this, I didn't save it. It helps to save things. If you save it, you'll now notice that each parameter randomly selects a color from that semantic highlighting list. And now you'll get more visual variety when you're looking at methods, variables, and parameters. So give that a try. Semantic highlighting, it's pretty neat. Some folks will like it. Yeah.
Well, one thing, this is actually mind-boggling to me. We had this semantic highlighting in ReSharper for a very, very long time already. And I know folks coming from Visual Studio, then they said, and I showed that feature, and they said, but I still prefer this less coloring, let's say. I never understood why people would say that they prefer less coloring, which gives you less information, of course, also. So this is just one of many coloring differences that we already have. Like you can also, for instance, give extension method calls a different highlighting. So just by looking at it, you would know it's an extension method without going to declaration, for instance. So this is definitely crazy what the semantic highlighting itself, and to what a degree you can actually tweak it. So I can definitely recommend everyone looking into those settings that you can, I don't know, maybe differentiate if a type is an interface or a class, for instance. I know Visual Studio SDK, they never prefix their interfaces with an I. So with this semantic code highlighting, we would still be able to see it's actually an interface in another class. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that feature.
Yeah, I will also say that I reference, or the interfaces starting with I, dabbling in game development, it's like some of the idioms that are part of C#. You can see people who write C# but maybe don't do it full time. They just write it for scripts. Those idioms can quickly break down when those folks write C#. So semantic highlighting is very nice because we're doing it based on the language structure rather than conventions that maybe the community has built over time, right? So that's kind of an interesting point. So okay, and the last couple things I want to show you is so if you're looking to write a lot of Markdown documentation and you're a scientist and you work with math a lot, and you've got that galaxy brain that I've always wanted. I'm terrible at math, by the way. It's one of my flaws, I think, but one of my many flaws. But if you're writing a lot of formulas in Markdown, now our Markdown renderer will actually render those formulas properly. So this is pretty cool. So yeah, if you're writing documentation in Rider, maybe you're checking out our other product, Rider Side, which helps you write documentation. Our Markdown rendering now supports mathematical equations. So that's pretty cool. The last thing I want to show, and before I pass it back, you may have noticed as I scroll that we have sticky line support now in Rider. This was actually released in the previous version of JetBrains Rider. And we only supported a small handful of languages. But if you were to go to settings now and look up sticky lines, you'll notice we have a lot more support for a lot of different languages here. So you can set the maximum depth of your sticky lines to less or more. If sometimes it can get a little ridiculous in those kind of languages like YAML, so you don't want to go too wild. But yeah, we support all these languages, and you'll notice too, if you're a game dev, we have things like Shader Lab, so it should make writing those things a little bit nicer in our editor. So that's sticky lines. Give that a try. If you're not a fan, turn it off. I won't judge you. It'll be okay. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. So I do have a bonus one, but it's not on the agenda. But yeah, you can reformat JavaScript in Razor now. But I know that was a long-standing issue. That's solved now. So give that a try. All right, Matthias, back to you. I'm done.
Thanks, Khalid. Very nice features also. Now it's Rachel's turn with AI Assistant, starting with AI Assistant.
Yep, so we got a lot of stuff, AI, all the things, of course. So
screen is shared.
Oh, is it? Is it not? Sorry.
Yeah, it is. I was just confirming.
Oh, oops. I had it on the separate window. So, okay, so AI, all the things. One of the things we've wanted to do is polish up some of the AI features. AI is one of those, it's a hype technology, and no matter what you do, people want you to do another thing as well. So we've been doing a lot of other things. One of them is making sure that you have proper context when you interact with the AI. So if you go into the chat window or even with the tools, In this chat window, we want to make sure that we have our code and assets available. But you, of course, want to balance that with security. And obviously, we're not going to feed everything just to some other AI company, but we have to make sure that we correctly balance our context and security. So now we do have more context available. So I don't have to be in that file. I can just ask, like, explain the code in this file. And it should tell me what the code is. And it might take a second. It has to actually go look, but it can actually see it. It has a full context, a full deck of really cool stuff. And look at that. It's like super fast. This has gotten even faster. So you can't, it's fast enough. You can't even read it until you have to scroll back up to later. But here it gives me all this really cool stuff. So that's really great. I have a lot of context. That means that the AI is going to work more precisely, more efficiently, obviously faster. So things are just generally better. So that's one of our new kind of quality of life improvements. Another one would be just in general working in the IDE. If I come in here and do say a control slash, and it asks me to generate code, I tell it make a regex for this email. And it should come up with something, right? So here I have the regex that kind of likes to make the email anyway. I'll just go, yeah, that looks great. Now, you should probably not just accept any darn thing the AI tells you, like I just did. But regex, I found, it's actually pretty darn good with stuff like this. So I could actually come in here and do two things. I could do my Alt-Enter rather than Control slash to bring up the AI. I could just bring up my regular Alt-Enter intentions. And if you look here, you're going to see all these cool little, look for the swirl. You're going to start seeing these showing up more embedded. So anywhere you see the little swirl, it's an AI thing, just either regular swirl or the purple swirl. Purple usually means some extra actions. But here I could come back and say, look, just explain what you just made for me. And then I could even, triage that with an outside source. But if you actually read through what it tells you, these are good. And I have regrettably had to spend a little bit more time than I ever wanted to with regex a long time ago. So I actually can recognize some of these. And I'm like, yeah, it does pretty well. So who knew AI would actually be the thing that makes regex not completely suck? It's like, hey, it's not so bad now. You have that. So look everywhere. You're going to see these really nice, like improved speed and smoother features, just really nice. That includes the terminal. So here we can work in the terminal, which has had some nice enhancements. I might come in here and say I want to do some PowerShell. And, oh, yeah, I don't actually do PowerShell. So that could be a problem. Or not. I'll just ask AI. And the swirly is way here at the end because I have the tool window. But again, I could do the swirl or control slash and ask me to generate a command. So because I'm in the prompt, it's going to actually just give me a runnable command, which is great, especially if you are doing something like PowerShell. So I could tell it, list all the CS files in this solution. Probably don't need the extra space. And it should give me a command. Boom. And I could just press enter. And look at how fast that is. Just gave me all of the CS files. So you can just have it, making up commands, issuing the commands, just interactively working in your terminal window. It's really, really great. I like this feature. It makes it really smooth. Another one that we've added, if we go into the settings, so I've gone back into the AI chat window. You could go this way. You could just go into File, Preferences, or Settings. It's the same settings. I just like going into it this way. And you'll see all the AI assistant options in here. One of them is that you can receive your chat responses in a different language. So I can come in here and tell it I now want to hear everything in German. And I could say, I'll just ask it. What are you now speaking? It wants to help in German. Nah, we're good. Tell it to speak English? Nope. It's like my German teacher. It's the same thing.
It's good German, I confirm.
My German is still scheiß, but nonetheless, I can actually have it talking to me like it is my German teacher here. So that's amusing. Okay, what language now? Let's see what it says. There we go. Now we're back to English. So whatever, and I toyed with it, and I kept like actually asking it in English and German, like to go back to English, it wouldn't. So you have to go reset it back to the custom language you want, and then it just replies in it. So that's fun, and that's really handy actually. Otherwise, if you just go in and ask it to reply or respond in a different language, it will temporarily. So you don't have to set the setting, but you might have to keep asking it every time you open up like a new instance of Rider or something like that. So this one is a cool one. We like that. I'll move over to the DPA stuff. So different Rider instance here. Now I have already run this before, but generally you would, to use DPA or dynamic program analysis, you would run, actually I could run it now. This one does not take a long time, and wait for your thing to happen, right? So this is going through, compiles, actually does the run. You can also debug it. Being that this is Sudoku, it has to go through and figure out all of the solving. So it could take anywhere from a short amount of time to a little bit more. Here we go. So I have a little something. Just pop into my dynamic program analysis tool window. And any of these, I could just come in here and say, explain to me this in AI. Now, not in AI, but with AI. I also get a lot of good details in here without it, but if I come in here and say explain with AI, pops up my chat assistant and starts telling me all of the good stuff that's in here. Gives you all the details you need. You could be in here really, really examining this code very well. So you have a full deck of info here between DPA itself and augmenting it with AI. It's really great. So some other really, really good AI things that are coming down, or actually just have released for us. Now, ReSharper also has been getting a lot of AI enhancements, and happy birthday, ReSharper. Almost legal drinking age in the US next year. Right? Europe, we're good, right? So Rider, or not Rider, ReSharper has a couple of things. First off, both in Rider and ReSharper, ChatGPT for, it's running that for the chat window, right? Yeah, is Matt still around? Should I start singing the ChatGPT song? ChatGPT, he hates that. See, that's why he's not here. He knew I was going to sing it. So here in ReSharper, ChatGPT for you, and for some of the operations, Bison. So we've got the good LLMs going. There's a lot of quality of life improvements with the UI and stuff like that. One of the things that is, this is also in Rider as well, but for ReSharper, if I run and something bombs, which, I'll say things like not in my code, except, if you've seen my code, hey, yeah, because, boom, something should, yeah, okay, so bombing, making bombs. What's going on here, AI? So I could just click explain this with AI. Well, I actually wish we had stuff like this years ago. Like I remember when you had to go and look at MSDN CDs to figure out stuff like this, right? Now you just click explain with AI. And I feel old and wish that we had things when I was younger. But look at it, tells me, oh, look, here is why your code sucks. But it's polite. It doesn't say that way. It just goes, oh, it appears this is what's happening, right? In your terrible code, but it never prints out those words, your code is terrible. But we all know this. So there we go. So that's a really nice one, right? I get to go in there and explain the errors and all of that good stuff. Also, let's see. What else do we have? Same thing as in Rider. If I want to come in here to this AI assistant and start chatting with it, I can ask it about, you know, what's in some file. I can start asking it stuff like that. It's going to go in there and, you know, it has that extra context, so it can then tell me all that good stuff, right? So it might take a second, but there we go. So we have the context. I no longer have to go and copy the code, push it into the chat window, and then run it. Oh, I see what my sucky code was doing before. Just comment that out for now. Another thing that we might do with AI is document. So we have a lot of other cool stuff in here with documenting, interacting with the AI tools, all of that. So again, with Alt-Enter, which is just our regular intention actions that you see here, but also, here we go, little extra bits. So I could just come in here and do the Ask AI about this code. So it will just interact with me, just right in here. And then it will send it to a chat window. So again, like, what's this, explain this code, what's it doing, whatever I need to do. And then it will send it to the window. So I didn't, again, have to copy and paste. This poor AI thing, I'm not even like waiting for it to finish telling me. I know these results are pretty good. It's telling us, it is really good at explaining the code. That is kind of the point of this kind of software, right? LLMs are really good at statistically doing stuff like this. So, but here I can also come in here and do these other actions too, right? So I could just Alt-Enter and just tell it, like, write some documentation. But you'll notice a few things. Here's the new stuff. First is you get a little bit nicer of a UX here. So now we have a bigger bar where you can actually kind of reprompt and refine your prompts. So I can say, like, okay, I had to generate this document. More details. What do you got? You know, I could ask it a question. I can ask it to modify it. Also here, you'll see the little bar just giving you the shortcut keys at the top as well. Here, I could also scroll through these and see which one I like better and which one I might want to accept or not accept, or even to regenerate something completely new. So I could just kind of keep scrolling through and working with the result. So I don't have to keep issuing a new prompt. I could just do it all in line, and it's actually pretty smooth. Just click accept, and there I have everything nicely documented. One of the other ones as well in here is the rename, right? So if I do my Control R to rename, or an extract method, or anything with a name, you'll see here, it took a second, had to load the suggestions, and I get the AI swirl. So this is giving me some really good, this is nice too, because, you know, naming is hard. And now I don't have to think about it. Like, it's just coming up with some names for me. So another great use for an LLM. I don't have to think of a name now. I could just pick out whatever name I want from this, and, you know, it can make better sense for me. So that's a really nice feature too. When we're doing any kind of rename, you'll get those cool rename suggestions with actually useful names. So that's a pretty good one too then. That I like. And I think I hit all of the big AI features. But like I said, if you dig around with your intention actions, you'll look for the little swirls, you'll pick that one off, and you'll have a nice little time with that, because a lot of good AI stuff to make your coding a lot more smooth, a lot easier, a little bit more free-flowing, and less fighting with your software, hopefully. So whoever's next.
You're still next, but I have a question to fill it in, question from chat was voice controlled when, and I raised to thought controlled when.
Wait, what? Voice controlled?
AI, when will it be voice controlled?
I mean, have we talked to the team about this?
Hey, Rider, refactor that code until tomorrow. Yeah.
Should we talk to the team about this? I mean, I think there is AI that will take your voice and process it. So is that coding could be going in that direction. Okay, I can see it. So
okay, yeah, but next topic is version control.
Version control.
Continue.
Yeah, that's good. Let's see. Probably
Good.
got something here. Yeah, here's some Git. So let's see. We have a couple things in version control. First, local history. So if I want to go look at a local history for my project, now we have the little side-by-side viewer. We've modernized the UI. We've made it easily accessed. So you see the diff here and everything. You can kind of scroll through. So local history, if you're not sure what it is, it's just all of your basically copy and paste, kind of activity, the changes, like a change log that did not get into source code control just yet. So we have just our local stuff, but also your regular Git stuff, right? So back in my Git, we have the log tool. So I can pick out any commit, do this little drop down right here in the console, and tell it that I want to look at the Git log editor tab. Now, what I could do is if I'm picking this here, like this changes to the model, and I say open it in a tab, I get it in a cool little tab up here. So I could look at some information. But if I pick the other ones as well, like you'll get these different log tabs. So you can kind of work with one in one tab and another in another tab, and you have the tool window, and you could just, you could just vomit Git all over the place here with this, right? And keep track of everything that you need. So local history, the log tool, also settings are consolidated for the log tool. So if you go into preferences, source code control, somewhere in here is source code control. Somewhere in here is source code control. I forget where our own stuff is. But in here, you're going to see some more, like all of the settings, if I could find it. Where the hell did it go?
Further down. Further.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Version control, yeah.
Scrolled right past it. So everything is now like under here, right? So all of your stuff with the commits, the log, all of the log stuff is now in here. It was kind of scattered about. And of course, that's all rolled up under version control as well. So that's the other one for Git, for the settings is that. And I think, customizable prompts are the other one. If you actually just go into AI, you could get to it from there, but you can also get to it through the Git log. But if you come in here, you'll actually see different prompts for documentation, for Git, for other stuff. So you can add your custom prompts in through here as well. Again, I just like to go through the AI tool, but we do have these things as well. And I think that's it for the VCS stuff. We do have AI merge assist too, and some other cool things, but these are so far the big ones.
That custom prompts one is pretty cool because I know some people who are generating commit messages, they want to use like a structured commit format. So you can definitely go in there and tell it to use that particular format using samples and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, that is really nice. It's nice having a little set of prompts just to help outside of what the normal things that AI does. Your own prompts enhance what you do every day on a day-to-day basis. So make and keep a prompt library, and we have it all in here so that you could use it for, really any task. Right?
Make my commit message a whole book, please, for every commit that I'm doing. Okay, Rachel, I'm giving you a short break and give very quick update on Code with Me. So if you missed that, we've been bundling it since some EAP in the last version, so 24.1. Now we put a lot of effort into making the typing experience a lot better. So therefore, it's also part of our what's new content here. If you like a more technical background, or if you like some more technical background details on that, then you can scroll through the issue here. And Jenya was giving a lot of insights there, and I think also showing how many tests are still failing. So yeah, a couple of them are still failing, but that was the focus there to improve typing experience. And I think completion was, at least back then, still some issue, a minor issue. But yeah, give it a go. Do let us know about let us know about your feedback, your thoughts, and I'm sure that helps the team a lot there. So then back to you, Rachel, with databases, right? Screen is shared. Mic is not unmuted,
okay.
I think, if you're talking.
I was going to unmute it just to find out that it's, look at that. Okay, it's already unmuted. So let's see, databases. It's actually the really cool stuff. So a couple of really neat things in databases. First is kind of not databases. I can open an Excel file, and as I look through here, I can, this is my favorite thing. I could come in here, go to this little tool button and tell it to show the geo viewer. And then what it does is it actually brings up, that's in Paris. But not just that, if I like scroll and click around, like this is so cool. It actually shows me where it is. Now, if I do like a control click, that is
so one question, are those the geolocations of the other coupon codes? So someone needs to go there and dig them out?
Yeah, somebody does have to put up these codes. You have to have the longe and lat, but once you have longe and lat, look at this. This is really cool. Like, what can you say? Like, I don't even care if you don't need the feature. You just like want to find a reason to have lat and longe in your code just to do this. This is just so fun. But yeah, so that's our geo viewer. Same thing as tables as well. So if you do that in an actual table and not just Excel sheet, exact same thing. I love it though. That's so great. Another one is, again, with my Excel spreadsheet, if I just drag it over here into my database window onto the tables, like boom, it brings up the importer. So now you can just import it through a script loader, right? So I can just now have my I don't know how to spell. There, that's better. So I can just give it a name. I could come in here and, you know, figure out exactly what mapping I want, you know, play around with the types, tell it how I want it to treat nulls, you know, some other information. I could even see the DDL preview, come in here, click OK, boom. It's going to come in here and give me that. Then I could do that same thing again, geo view it and all of that stuff. So this is really cool that we have the script loader to do this. And of course, from here, I can import and export and copy. So you'll see some of the little extra options up here. Also working between CSV and other types of files. So that's some really cool stuff in here. Another one is if I open a table, like, you know, it's a bookstore, genres, and I click on this row or that row, you'll see this little pop-up here. And I could look at the related rows. So here for fiction, I click on it, I get related rows, gives me all of the fiction books. If I come back in here and grab biography, I could see those books, or, you know, whatever the related rows are, that's really, really handy, really cool that we have the little related rows now in our floating toolbar window. So that's also like the database ones outside of AI. Like, I think the database features are super cool this release, especially that geo viewer. So I'm good with database stuff. Whoever's next.
You.
Oh, it's
That's
still me.
development.
Okay. Web development. All right.
I'm sorry.
So
I'm sorry.
Two things with web development. One is that we now support path resolution for Next, Nuxt, SvelteKit, and what's the other one? Astro. So if you're a JavaScript person, knock yourself out. You got paths now. The other one would be TypeScript. I can just run scripts with impunity now. Like just right click, run the script. Boom, look at that. Just right there. I can also debug it. Come in here and run debug. Boom, look at that. That's cool too, also. So things I like, but that's the web. Web was really easy and short, but I do enjoy running those TypeScripts, right? So a lot more scripting options that we could do. And AI also works with all this too. So you'll see that little AI swirl in TypeScript files and other stuff too, where it makes sense. So, okay. Yeah, I'm out of web stuff too. Please don't tell me I have more because I don't have anything left.
Rachel, I thought you got stuck in German mode when you were describing all those client-side frameworks.
Hang on, folks. Yeah. So right, next part is Matt's part, and Khalid and I
Let's
we
get out of the
agreed
pool.
yeah, dry yourself up. Yeah, we agreed to go through our what's new page a little and kind of at least slightly cover those points. So everyone who has something to say can say something. I know Khalid was digging Godot a little there, right?
Yeah, so in this release of Rider, we now have Godot support for C# and GD script. So the way GD script support works in Rider is you need the editor open. You can also run in headless mode, but typically you want to keep your Godot editor open, and we'll connect to the language server that's hosted inside that particular version of Godot. So now you can edit your GD script right in Rider next to your C# files, and you'll get things like debugging, both for C# and GD script. So that's pretty cool. Give that a try. There's also a community GD script plugin that you might want to install as well. It's not necessary, but it also brings in some things, and we're working to improve those as well. So as Matthias is scrolling through here, you can kind of see the visual indication of whether you're connected to that LSP instance in your editor. So yeah, pretty cool. I love Godot. I've been working with it for over the last 3 weeks. It's been a lot of fun. So, yep.
I love Unreal and Unity, but I'm just playing games with them. So Matt has been just about a week ago or something throwing out a blog post about this whole Unreal debugger improvements. Like can add those watches there for support for smart pointers and equal comparison for strings.
Yeah, Matt was telling me about the debugger improvement. It's actually when we were updating the debugger, we missed a couple entitlements that was taking us to the scenic route to your memory. So that was kind of slowing down the debugger experience. At this point, we're taking the bullet train straight to those memory locations. So folks who are working with Unreal should notice that the debugger experience is a lot better. So that's how Matt phrased it. If that's wrong, Matt can tell me I'm wrong. But yeah. Oh, this next one is interesting.
Shared blame there. Yeah, monitoring tool support with where you can see performance metrics, how much memory is being used to kind of profile your game in Unreal.
Yeah, I'd like to say a comment for that specifically. Previously, our monitoring tool was only focusing on .NET like applications, so it was only supporting Unity. But in this update, we made it so that we're looking at different things as well. So that's how we were able to add C++ applications. So that's been pretty cool. Yeah.
inspections, like with any of the 3 major game engines that we support. Probably all of them get a bunch with each release. So yeah, full line completion. I don't actually know what's the specific support there, but I guess this is about just mainly C++, right?
Yeah, so
Am I wrong?
full line code completion will go download specific fine-tuned models for each language. Previously, I
Alright.
think we only had C# and JavaScript, and C++ was still a work in progress. But as of this release, we do have fine-tuned models for C++. So yeah, that's why it's there as well.
So the models without an I prefix for interfaces, right? Those are the models.
Yeah.
Struct member layout. So for struct types, you would see, I guess that's the layout of what goes where and how big it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the size of those fields. And finally, what is actually this? Sticky lines again. Yeah, also for header files in this case, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we have C++ support now. I mentioned it, like if people rewind, they can see that that C++ is a language in the sticky line settings, but also things like Shader Lab as well. So you should have that kind of support now in Unreal and Unity based languages. So
if you've been writing a low-level test, so this is new with executing a test right from the gutter, like many of the other, I guess. Okay, and Unity, also has like 2 images. I'm a person, I mainly like looking at the images and skip the whole text. But monitoring support here as well, like we already covered. Holy moly. What is this? I have no idea.
So interestingly enough, in the Chinese market, there's a different company that essentially has forked Unity. They're very similar engines, but they have also differences. So now we support that specific flavor of the Unity engine editor. So if you're in the Chinese market and you're writing games, very popular mobile games in that space, you can use that editor with JetBrains Rider. It's pretty cool.
So were you intentionally not pronouncing it, or because that's what I was waiting for?
I could say Tuanji. Tuanji sounds about right, but if there's any Chinese speakers out there, please tell us how horribly wrong we pronounce that.
All right, and something about shader variant updates. I haven't checked on those, I'll be honest.
Yeah, shaders, you love them, hate them. They're a lot of fun to put in your projects, and we're just trying to make that experience a lot easier for folks. So give it a try. It should be a lot easier to write shaders now in JetBrains Rider.
I see less false positives. So yeah, do let us know, definitely.
Yeah.
Now Martin also has some things to share. Finally, Martin, where are you?
I'm here.
I'm sharing the screen where I see something, right? And not just the avatar, right?
Yeah, the other one. Yep, that's the one. All right.
Okay, sure.
I have plugins. I have dotMemory and dotTrace, and also a plugin that Khalid and I started to work on a while ago, and that is now bundled. So let's dive in. So first of all, we have multiple profilers. One is dotTrace, which is for performance profiling and so on. One is dotMemory. In dotTrace, not a lot of new things, but probably a big one if you have been working with dotTrace previously or have been loading like crash dumps and so on. The speed with which we load large snapshots has gone up dramatically. So it's much faster if you have this massive dump and you want to see what's going on in your application that you have on a server somewhere, for example, that has a lot of memory. You can open it much faster than previously. So that's the main update for dotTrace. Now let's dig into dotMemory. So dotMemory, you may notice we have it available on macOS And we have been improving it every single release, adding more and more of the features that you might also know from the Windows version of dotTrace or of dotMemory and dotTrace as well. So one thing we added in this release is the overview of the automatic inspections that you have on a memory snapshots. So if you open up any memory snapshot or profile your application, do some memory profiling, you will see things like what are the largest objects that I have in my snapshots, what's the largest retained size, like which object is retaining the most memory that we have here. You will see string duplicates that you might want to update. You will see arrays that are too large for what you want to store in there. Finalizable objects, objects that are supposed to be disposed already, but aren't really yet. So you might want to look into disposing them properly. And if you're doing anything that is related to XAML using Avalonia or WPF or anything else, you will also see event handler leaks there, for example. So you can see that maybe you have an observable that you subscribe to in a view, but you forgot to unsubscribe. So you will see those leaks here. And then from there, you can immediately dig in, see, for example, where these are retained. And then you can see that, for example, this event handler is in the window implementation of Avalonia. It's being held in memory. So this is really easy to dig into a memory snapshot really, really fast. Now, these are available on Linux and Mac now as well. They have been on Windows already. Now, if you use dotMemory inside of Rider, which you can do using any run configuration, you can essentially click the kebab menu there, profile with memory, or profile with memory, but without tracking all of the allocations. Snapshot size is going to be different, but you will get more information with the default there. If you profile your application, you will see similar things that you would normally see in the standalone version. So at some point, I can get a snapshot of my Sudoku solver. I can maybe get another snapshot there and maybe even kill my application because I'm not interested in the result there. Also here, if you open up a snapshot, you will see those inspections inside of Rider as well. Interesting one in this application here is that I have a cell array in my Sudoku solver just to keep track of all the numbers that I have on the board there. You will see that I'm wasting a lot of space there. So I can look into this, see where it's being defined. It's in my board class. So now I can dive into my boards and see indeed that for a 9x9 rows and columns, I'm defining 900. So probably I should be fixing this code there. All right. Another thing that we added is when you have any analysis inside of dotMemory, you can essentially look at the instances and find, if you're tracking full allocations, you can find objects either by object ID, if you know it. If you know the content of an object, you can do something like, say, search for 0.0.1, for example. You will see all of the versions of my Sudoku solver where that string is part of what you see there. Another thing is that you can search by regular expressions. So if you know that there's a license code hidden, for example, in this application, I can do a regex that says I want to search for A to Z. I want 5 occurrences of that one, followed by a hyphen, followed by anything else. And you will see there's a license code hidden in these snapshots. All right. So you can search by regex.
We can't see the full code, though. We can't see the full code.
You can't see the full code. I can hover it. So there you go. It's the same one that was in code earlier.
Oh, okay.
So you will be able to find it. So yeah, you can search by string value, by regular expression, or by object address if you know it. Another one that we have is in the call tree. If you go in there, you will see that the call tree is now displayed as a sunburst chart, which gives you a good indication of which code is allocating the most memory in here. And you can drill down in the tree there and go, for example, in this create initial boards. In the constructor there, we are allocating most memory. So this is probably a good one to start investigating in this particular application. So really nice additions and nice and visual to find what you're after. So you will find that outer ring here. That's going to be my constructor of that board class that we have there. All right. The other plugin we have is the .NET Watch plugin. So if you don't know about this one, .NET has a command line tool that you can use called .NET Watch that you can use to run your application. It will keep track of changes that you're making, and depending on the type of change, either hot reload your application or recompile everything and make it seem like it was hot reloading. So it's really nice. except not everyone likes the command line. And a while ago, Khalid and I created a new run configuration as a plugin, and this one is now bundled. So if you go into the run configurations here, you will find that there's a .NET Watch run configuration. You can give it a name, Watch application, for example. You can add all of the arguments there. You can launch the browser or suppress launching the browser if you're doing a web application. You can add additional arguments, specify verbosity of the tool, and so on. Essentially, all of the command line switches and knobs that you can tweak there. Create this run configuration. I can run this application. And if all goes well with the defaults for this application, I should be seeing a browser pop up. It's building. And when the browser pops up, I can see a code is there. So this is, again, really nice. But because we are running using .NET Watch, it means that whenever I go in the CSHTML or even in the C# codes, I can just add another code there, save, and you will see hot reload of changes succeeded. And my browser now also should have the new one. It's not loading for whatever reason. Anyway, you probably got it from there. So that's, I guess, the section that I wanted to highlight in terms of features in the series.
Maybe no one cares about the hot reload, but the code, just the code. Give me the code.
I mean, this is a great way to have demos fail.
It happens, and many times right after the presentation, you find this little thing that where you blocked it yourself, and then I don't know, it just works or magically starts working again. I guess anyone who has done presentations knows about this, and that it can
This is how it goes.
Okay, I just have a small section that is closing here. Let me share my screen again. Where is it? Here. And that's the decompiler. Lots of smaller features. I guess that's mainly if you're interested to actually seeing that, and if you're a regular user of that. I need it occasionally, but then I'm glad it's there. But yeah, just speaking about those couple of enhancements that we have, it was actually surprising to me that Lambdas now can have attributes and Lambda parameters which are optional, etc. Just completely forgot about them. But Martin said that they're being used mainly in the minimal API area, let's call it. This was also funny to read about, but there's an attribute that is supposed to suppress decompilation of assemblies. So IL-DASM wouldn't work on those assemblies. We're giving you the option to ignore that attribute. How nice is that? Then a little bit more about handling of external sources. Like for instance, we now recognize the preprocessor directives correctly, so that they are matching the target framework so that you basically can read the relevant code easier, much better. Assembly Explorer now detects build configuration, which was used at the time of building those assemblies. That's also nice. And this is the ReSharper part. I think the only thing that adds here is the open in browser action. For whatever reason, this is not there in Rider yet. I don't know why, but probably there's a reason. But as you see here, there's a context action to open in browser, and then if there is enough information, like the repository, etc., then you can move to the repository of the corresponding type in the assembly. Which is cool. If you needed that, that's nice, and you save some time on actually looking that up. All right, that's everything, folks. Done a good job. I think I take the first place in bad estimations, but I blame all on the monitor setup.
It's all right. I think everybody had fun, and I think that's what really matters. So. Martin knows how many people have redeemed codes. Do you want to let people know how we're doing there? How many are still available?
We have claimed 15 out of 20. So if you want to rewatch the stream and try all of them, feel free to do so.
Yep. Good luck.
15 out of 20. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
5 left hidden in the stream.
Man, we're gonna get those views up. People are just gonna keep rewinding back and forth. That's gonna be awesome. All right. Yeah, thanks everybody. That was really fun.
I still, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
I didn't want to wanted to interrupt there. But as always, I'm just pointing here to our what's new content that we have, not just for, I mean, we've been covering a lot of things, but just to know, Rider, in particular, Rider integrates with a lot of products that we have, like ReSharper, for instance. So we have a lot of content there. If you want to check that out again, then of course Rider itself also has this, I mean, we have a Rider team. They also write features. We don't just inherit from other teams. IntelliJ IDEA as well. I'm very looking forward to some things like that. You know, sometimes features are being introduced in IDEA and then only a couple, or many times just one release later, we're getting the same features for .NET relevant languages. So something like import statement conflict resolution, that would be, yeah, super cool if you don't get those merge conflicts there anymore. Data grip also, I mean, Rachel covered a few, but I'm not sure if it was AI or did I miss that? Not sure. Anyway, you have text to SQL, you know, some more AI assistant features there. WebStorm, you know, just go out there, check those if they matter to you, because you know, I know this feeling. Sometimes it's you didn't know this feature exists, and then a colleague tells you about it, and then you're, oh wow, this exists for, oh my god, for 10 releases already. How could I miss that? Yeah, more information. Those are the places where you find us. Twitter, newsletter, or X. Sorry, it's X. Also, make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of our content. And the release parties, we're always glad to have you here. The chat is nice. I like it. And thanks everyone who's been on the stream. I mean, to my team here. But thanks also to you for joining. And yeah, see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.